Alrighty, the IS6, currently in stores for a pretty good price. It was the first premium tank I ever bought back in the day, and over time I've not really played it. I played it an awful lot when I first got it to growing credits, and then kind of put it down because it's like IS5, IS6, IS3, Russian gun, tier 8. Yeah, just but anyway, I thought I'd get it out again, just because I saw the offer in the garage. I thought, okay, yeah, I'll drive the IS6, see if it's still any good. And is it still any good? Well, the answer is yes, definitely. Has it been power crept? Not really. Would I buy it? No. A, because I wouldn't give Wargaming my money. B, because you can get an IS3 for nothing. C, because the IS5 is cheap as chips via clan missions. And D, because it's just a bit boring to play. So I'll do a quick review on it, and it may be helpful for people who haven't got one. So the first thing to note is when I see the IS6, IS5, IS3 played, and particularly the IS6 because it is, let's face it, a gold noob tank, all I do is I see people just rolling forwards in it. It's like, oh, I'd drive a heavy tank, and that's not really going to work, because the moment, look at the FCM, the moment people start spamming gold at you, a premium ammo, whatever you want to call it, yeah, forget about it. The second thing is, if you YOLO something, the DPM's not great. So once you've dumped your damage, then there's a lot of things that will drive around you and just literally take you to bits. The armour on the sides is quite troll, but if you shoot it above the tracks, no problem at all. There's a weak spot on top of the turret, but it's very hard to hit. The front hatch, again, it's a weak spot, but again, it's hard to hit. And obviously, if you get shot in the butt, well, that's not good. So the way to play the tank is patiently. And you have to be patient in it for numerous reasons. Reason number one is what I've just described. If you YOLO forward, unless like the whole team's pushing or you're in platoon and it's just the right moment, don't do it. Don't give your hit points away like that. It won't reward it. The second thing is the gun requires patience. It requires anything you can do to enhance it, so provisions, gun lane drives, anything you can do to get the gun as good as it can be, get them on the tank, because it's not the most accurate of weapons. Having said that, with a bit of patience and a bit of aiming up, it will do really nice damage to people. And it's, I mean, look at the E75, the pen's not great. I am going to change up the Pramo to clear him, but it's a decent enough gun, and when aimed, it will clout stuff. And you know, you get the odd shot which is just gifted by Stalin, which just goes in, and it's just, you know, kind of ridiculous. But as a rule of thumb, you've really got to aim the gun up. The good news is that if you've angled the tank up correctly, you know, those extra seconds that you need to aim, right enough, you may get clouted because you've taken that extra second, but my general view is that it's worth it. And if you're playing, you saw Super Pershing at the beginning, if you're playing something like a Super Pershing, well, to be fair, let him clout you, because he's going to do you for 163, 200 damage, and you're going to smack him for 463. The very worst thing in this tank is when you miss shots, because you lose just so much damage during the game, you know, because of the reload. When you miss a shot, you're cheating yourself and the team out of damage. So especially with lower tier tanks, or tanks that aren't going to particularly hurt you, especially if you're angled, just take the extra 3-4 seconds, whatever you need, to get that radical right down and stick your damage in. The second thing, the second key to playing the tank, I guess, is positioning the tank. So The IS6 will, like I said, come to bits very quickly if you YOLO, especially when people are shooting premium and you end up in a DPM trade. So what you want to do is find positions whereby you can play the tank to its strengths. And the strength of the tank is that it's like a freaking bunker if you get it hull down, if you hide the bottom plate, and if you side scrape it. There really isn't much that's going to go in. And if the enemy don't push you, and quite honestly, they typically don't. A hull down IS6, people really don't want to know it. And if the enemy's got like really shit meds and lights like they have in this game, I mean, you're just not in jeopardy at all. So the gun depression is not great. So what I've done is I've put the tank in a position whereby I can mitigate the gun depression. That's fine. I'm pretty much flat. I've got a bush which is effectively hiding my armour profile, the hit skin on the tank, and I'm side scraped into a rock. So unless I need to push or the game adapts, my point is the tank will sit here really happily all game, just doing what it did to that SU and to that Panther, which is effectively bounce stuff. And when things poke, like the Panther again, see, look, I took the extra time, I was prepared to trade, I was kind of 90% sure that wasn't going in, and I just slapped him. I didn't try and snapshot, I just took the time. Lurver's coming across. You know, we're on 1.6k damage, and we've not been, you know, remotely in jeopardy at all. And you might say, well, you know, Tshep, you ought to be pushing your heavy tank down there into that dip, and you ought to be being more aggressive, and you ought to be this, and you ought to be that, heavy tank, blah, 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 blah. No, not really. To be absolutely honest, game like this, right, last shot into Lurver, bounce off that. I now turn and deal with the German Bulldog thing, which is into the Scorpion. Given that the Scorpions pretty much spent most of the game rolling backwards and forwards in front of me and being generally annoying, I'm not really that sad that I didn't save him. I let the Bulldog pass, by the way, so I could load HE into his ass, but he's at least had the common sense to get out of the way of that. So I'll just recover my angles because I don't want anything behind me. There you go. Gone. And then we've just got one tank left. And a simpler game you will never see. The tank overall just handles positions like that so extremely excellently that, you know, it's really quite amusing, I guess, just to sit there and annoy the crap out of people. What I will say is I played 6 games this morning. I won 4 of them, all in ratings. I don't really feel the need to carry on playing it. The credits, I think, as you'll see at the results screen at the end, are, you know, more than reasonable, pretty good. What did I get for that? 72k. Really good for grinding credits. I just think that there's more interesting things to do in Blitz, or I don't know, with my life. But anyway, quick review on the IS6. If you haven't got one, I really won't bother. Anyway, see you, bye.